Have you ever fantasized about the perfect band? You hand-pick musicians to create the ideal sound that you always wanted to hear. You take the guitars from this band, the singer from that one.
They don't even have to be alive. You
can create cross-dimensional, decade-less, ageless bands that can last forever. Huh? Supergroups aren't anything new. They've been around for as long as music has existed. Don't look that up. Many cite the psychedelic band Cream as the first supergroup. We all know at least one supergroup. Audioslave, Temple of the Dog, Foo Fighters. And yes, Foo Fighters is a supergroup. I will fight anyone who disagrees. We all know these bands. We all love these bands. But what about the ones that faded from our collective consciousness? The supergroups that maybe weren't so super. What happened to them? Well, I'm gonna tell you. Hello and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Trevor and I am eternally uncool. I make videos about music, music culture, and anything that interests me. But mostly music right now. So if that sounds like something you'd be into, then I highly recommend subscribing to the channel and watching the rest of this video. Supergroups have always interested me. Whether it's a full-time project or a one-off kind of thing for charity or whatever, supergroups have just always caught my attention. You have these musicians from different bands that come together to create a whole new thing.
How cool is that?
Sometimes the result is great, like the aforementioned Foo Fighters. What if I say I'm not like the others? What if I say I'm not just another one in your place? But then you have supergroups that aren't Foo Fighters. Like Methods of Mayhem, which was just an excuse for Tommy Lee to rap really badly while members of Sevendust and Evanescence tried desperately to save his ass. Getting paid to entertain me, showers, rocking my ponytail for hours and hours. But there are supergroups out there who were really good. But for whatever reason, they were just forgotten. But not by me. Never by me. The Wizard made it so I don't forget. What I want to do today is take a look at a few supergroups that I never see anyone talk about. You may know some of these groups, but the music listening public as a whole might not. So don't come at me in the comments like, I remember this band! It won't work. With all that being said, grab a drink, grab a snack, get comfortable, and let's get into the video. We are stars colliding, we are selves dividing. We have all the time in the world, but never the timing. In 2009, after their album Folie à Deux was met with lukewarm reception by fans, as well as some internal struggles, Fall Out Boy went on hiatus. The four members would go on to do different things on their own. Patrick Stump released his severely underrated solo album Soul Punk. Pete Wentz leaned into his celebrity side by doing some hosting jobs and directing a music video for Train, of all bands. And Joe Troman and Andy Hurley decided they wanted to get a little bit heavier. The situation inside of my hands, I'm the crossbearer in the process. In 2008, before Fall Out Boy even broke up, Joe Troman sparked a friendship with Anthrax guitarist and Weird Beard ambassador Scott Ian. They started writing music together while Ian was on break from Anthrax. But they didn't want to be just two dudes playing music together.
What would people think?
So they invited Keith Buckley from Every Time I Die, as well as Ian's bandmate Rob Caggiano and Joe Troman's bandmate Andy Hurley. They named themselves The Damned Things, which was inspired by a lyric from that song Black Betty. You know, the one that goes, oh, Black Betty, bam, balam, oh, Black Betty, bam, balam. What's that song even about? They released their first album, Ironiclast, in December of 2010. The sound was a lot heavier than Fall Out Boy, taking much more influence from heavy metal and hard rock. There were still hooks though. It wasn't just pummeling heavy metal straight into your temples. That's all I want. remember getting really interested in this band when I was in high school. I was a huge Fall Out Boy fan at this point. I figured it would sound like Fall Out Boy, right?
Wrong.
I didn't know Fall Out Boy's hardcore background at this point, so hearing members of Fall Out Boy do something so heavy was so just jarring. But I liked it. I don't think the damned things ever got that much attention from like mainstream music publications. It was only ever devoted metal fans and Fall Out Boy fans who really know of them. But they were cool. If you enjoy classic heavy metal and rock, you can't go wrong with the damned things. They're a pretty solid band. If you like just Fall Out Boy, you might be a little thrown off at first. But trust me, they are worth checking out. Masked and anonymous bands are kind of a big thing right now, with bands like Sleep Token and President. But what if I told you that there was once an anonymous band made up entirely of emo and post-hardcore legends? That is where our next Forgotten Supergroup comes in. Allow me to introduce you to The Sound of Animals Fighting. The Sound of Animals Fighting was formed by Rich Balling, the former trombone player for progressive ska band RX Bandits. The lineup would be constantly changing, but some of the members included Circa Survive's Anthony Green on vocals, Chiodo's Craig Owens, also on vocals, RX Bandits' Matt Embry on guitar, and Chiodo's Bradley Bell on keyboards. This band mixed the prog influences of RX Bandits with the experimental post-hardcore of Circa Survive and Chiodo's, as well as elements of art rock and math rock. I remember finding this band in high school. I found a lot of bands in high school. I remember being really intrigued by the whole concept. I hadn't gotten into a lot of progressive rock or experimental bands at that point, but I was getting more and more into emo and heavier music. And so I took an interest in The Sound of Animals Fighting. I also liked that the animal masks that all the members wore kind of correlated to different personalities. It was pretty much my first introduction to masked bands. The Sound of Animals Fighting would break up in 2009, but they would reunite in 2014, 2019, and 2022. They also released a new album this year called The Maiden. I feel like this band should get a lot more love. They're really cool and mix several genres into something that is truly unique. If you enjoy experimental and artsy music mixed with 2000s post-hardcore and screamo, you'll probably enjoy The Sound of Animals Fighting. Sometimes bands will replace their lead singer for one reason or another. But what if a band had to replace their singer because that singer was possibly the worst human being to ever have existed.
Oh man! Oh God! Oh man!
Lost Prophets were a Welsh band that formed in the early 2000s. They were known for songs like Rooftops, The Last Train Home, and The Fake Sound of Progress. And some of these songs were really good and really catchy, and they were building up a pretty decent following. But all of the work that the band members put in was tainted when their singer committed one of the worst crimes that a person can commit. And I'm not even going to talk about all of that here. There's plenty of videos on YouTube you can look up about it. Obviously, the members of Lost Prophets could not continue under the Lost Prophets name. It had been tarnished. So after their former singer was convicted in 2013, they formed a new band called No Devotion in an attempt to distance themselves from their previous band. But they needed a singer, so they recruited Thursday's Jeff Rickley. No Devotion took a lot of influence from 80s post-punk and goth music. Stuff like The Cure, Joy Division, New Order, creating a sound that was wholly different from both Lost Prophets and Thursday.
Because it's getting old. Because you're letting go. Because it's getting cold. And I don't wanna be alone.
I remember hearing about the Lost Prophets thing back when it happened. So when I heard that the guys from this band was starting another band with Jeff Rickley, I was interested. So I checked them out. And I wasn't impressed. I wasn't really into 80s influenced post-punk in 2014. But as I've gotten older, I've grown to appreciate what No Devotion did. Not only did they create unique post-punk and electronic rock, but these musicians took what could have been the end of their careers and refused it. If you like post-punk and kind of like synthy rock music, definitely check out the underrated No Devotion. When I was in college, one of my favorite YouTube channels was Jared Alonji.
First step to hardcore dancing, remove the hat. It's gonna come off at some point, might as well take it now. You're gonna lose it, you won't be able to find it.
Alonji's channel is now called Boketo Media and mainly features music videos from bands associated with Boketo Media. But it used to be full of videos that satirized pop punk, emo, metalcore, including parody songs. I remember really enjoying these parodies for what they were, and Jared was a pretty good musician. Or at least a pretty good musician for someone who wasn't a professional musician.
Yeah.
CrazyEightyEight was formed in 2017 and features Alonji as well as It Is frontman Patty Walters and singer Lauren Babick. This was the first time I had really seen online figures come together and form a supergroup. Like I said, I was a fan of Alonji's channel, and I was a really big fan of As It Is. And even though I hadn't heard of her at the time, Lauren Babick immediately became a favorite of mine for her powerful vocals. When I first discovered them, I thought they were really cool. They mixed post-hardcore sound with pop-punk energy. You could tell that Jared wasn't just making jokes about the scene, but that he was legitimately a part of it. And Lauren Babick is such an underrated singer and performer. She really deserves a lot more credit. And of course, Patty Walters is just brilliant in whatever he does. So all three of them coming together was just perfect.
This pain I'm waiting for. Something in my soul so terrible.
I don't know if CrazyEightyEight still tours or records music or releases proper albums, but I think they should release more music because they're just so great. I know Jared is living the dad life and running Boketo Media, and Patty and As It Is are back to touring and releasing new music, and Lauren is just killing it with her music. But if they started touring and releasing new music, I think that they could dominate the scene. So if that sounds like the kind of thing you're into, check out CrazyEightyEight. Do you like any of these supergroups? What are some underrated groups that you would recommend? Let me know in the comments. That's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then I highly recommend smashing that like button and sharing this video with everyone you know. I'm a small, independent content creator who does everything on his own, and I'm really trying to grow this channel. So every like, comment, share, any interaction with this video or any of my other videos really helps me out a lot. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2026. If I can achieve that, then I will celebrate by doing a video reacting to all of my old, privated, pre-eternally uncool YouTube videos, as well as some of the videos of me when I was an actor. So if you want to see any of that, tell a friend to subscribe. I'm also trying to grow my Instagram, so if you want to follow me there, you can. But with all that being said, thank you for watching. As always, I'm Trevor. Stay uncool. And that's the end of the video. Goodbye.